You will find during trial that this case centers around the morning of June 18th, 2019, and it focuses on an argument between two neighbors. 37 seconds, approximately, is how long it took the defendant to walk over to Travis Peters' property and stab Travis Peters several times and run back to his property before fleeing the scene.
I heard the female voice also yelling about someone being a fat ass, and then I heard Lily's voice arguing.
Your Honor, this is all hearsay.
It's
Overruled.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I heard Lilly yell out that he was gonna, which I mean,
What did Lily's voice yell out? I'm sorry.
he was gonna kill him.
And while you were inside your house, were you able to hear anything?
Yes.
Okay, what did you hear?
I heard Travis arguing with another man.
Okay. Could you make out anything they were saying?
I vaguely remember Travis saying, "What are you doing?"
Okay. And did you see anything?
When I walked out the second time, I seen Travis laying in the yard.
And on this State's Exhibit 28, Detective Barnett, what is observed here?
It appears to be Mr. Lilly running up the steps with, I believe, the knife in his right hand. A closer image of Mr. Lilly with the suspected knife in his right hand.
And also on his right hand, what is observed, or what other observations did you make about this?
That was suspected blood.
Just so we're clear, essentially what this means is the DNA that was present on that storm door, the greater amount of the DNA that you found there was attributed to Travis Peters.
Yes, the primary profile that was at a higher level than the other profile was consistent with the profile of Travis Peters.
And then the secondary lower, a little bit lower level, was consistent with the defendant, Chester Lilly.
That's correct.
Okay, so if his back is to you, how is he kicking you?
For a back kick.
He's kicking back behind him as you're stabbing him.
Correct.
Okay. And then, so that would be the first stab.
No.
That's your testimony. That's when you got the knife. You picked the knife up. He's been over. He's kicking at
Objection, Your
you.
Honor, that's not his testimony.
May proceed. Overruled.
He's kicking, and now you say he's kicking back, and you're stabbing him in the back.
I'm pushing him off of me, yes.
That's when he is stabbed in the back. That's correct?
Correct.
You then continue to go towards him and stab him additional times.
No.
Well,
He
he's
come-
stabbed 6 more times. You understand that?
I understand that.
Okay, so if you stab him in the back first, you continue to stab him an additional 6 times, one of which in the neck, in the chest,
No.
and then the defensive wounds.
That's not how that happened.
So he's in a fight, as Mr. Munoz indicates, for his life, wrestling a man who has pulled a knife, he says, but he doesn't have a single injury. Common sense, ladies and gentlemen, that's not it. You can't employ self-defense simply because someone calls you a fat ass. And then you get upset and you go at them. And then you go and start confronting them. You know what? I would submit to you, Travis is probably scared. This guy's 326 pounds coming at him. He didn't know what to do. Never called 911, never reported this assault, that Travis was threatening him, that had come across towards Avery Street was doing this. Never did any of that to law enforcement.
Let's bring in Carolyn Abernathy. She's in Atlanta, Georgia, and still with us from Minneapolis, Minnesota, civil rights attorney and trial attorney Lee Hutton III. Kira, welcome. Good morning to you. Your thoughts on this case overall? Does the defendant have a chance here after taking the stand saying this was self-defense? You don't understand. You weren't there. I was there. I don't remember a lot about the knife and the stuff after, but boy, I do remember being scared for my life. Your thoughts?
Yeah, following this case, I really feel like the defendant wasn't as believable as possible. Now, it could be it's been 2 years, there's been a mistrial in this case, but it doesn't seem convincing enough. I think the way the prosecution has presented their case and everything was so quick. I mean, I think the biggest thing here the jury was going to be hung up on is, did he do it? Yes. Which of the murders are we going to do? First degree, second degree, or some lesser included offense? I think that's their biggest thing here. But I think he's getting convicted. It's just, is it going to be the top, first degree murder that the prosecution has done? I don't think he did a good job saying, oh, self-defense kind of thing.
Yeah. Lee, what he has going for him, though, is that video of him in his own surveillance video beforehand, because he is just sitting there. He doesn't look like a guy ready to go whack his neighbor with his knife, and you don't see a knife at all. Is there is there a chance that he doesn't, he could connect with a juror that just simply believes his story, and because frankly, to Kira's point and to your point earlier, there's a lot of holes in this story, but you just never know, do you, with a jury?
You never know, but I really think it's going to be an uphill battle, and here's why. The prosecution talked about this 37 seconds. So he gingerly walks off the porch, but within 37 seconds, his story is, I confronted him. He tried to be aggressive to the point where he was attempting to kill me, and I returned the same aggression in a self-defense, and all that happened in 30 seconds. It's just not believable. When you walk off that porch with the intent to go across the street, meet your neighbor, and then ultimately kill him, and then run back to the house, the time element is just not on his side. So did he not only make a terrible witness on his own behalf, the facts that the jury is looking at and can see just don't even match up. So not only does he not have a good story, the facts really just don't match his narrative.
Yeah, I think 37 seconds, there's enough time to get mad, run across with your own knife and do that, but not enough to run across, say, wait, what's going on? Steal the knife, then do it and come back. It's a different scenario, and that timeline actually does hurt him. Let's listen to one of the state's first witnesses, and this did not go as planned for the state because this was an eyewitness, didn't see, actually ear witness, heard arguing going on. Then it came time to identify the defendant after going on and on about him in court, and this is what happened.
Do you know a Chester Lilly?
Yes.
How do you know Mr. Lilly?
We live diagonally from each other.
Okay. And I'm going to just ask if you could look around the courtroom today and see if you see Mr. Lilly seated in the courtroom today.
Somewhere.
And has it been quite a while since this case?
Yeah, it's been a couple years.
Okay. It's been a couple years since you've seen Mr. Lilly?
Yes.
Okay. And did you know a Travis Peters?
Yeah.
Okay. How did you know Travis Peters?
He walked his dogs by our house every day.
That was a rut-row moment, a nightmare for the state, and the softball goes right by. But to be fair, the guy lost about 100 pounds. So, Kira, this isn't something that the jury is going to even think about. It was a moment at the time, but it was brought up in closing. You can't believe her because she couldn't even identify the defendant. But your thoughts on that? Would you throw out her testimony just because of that?
I don't think so. I think the defense's point there was questioning whether the voice she heard was actually Lily's, if she can't even remember what he looks like. But like you said, he lost weight. I know he had that beard at the time, and now he doesn't. So maybe she's just like associating him with, this is what he looked like back then. And maybe she does know what his voice sounds like. I don't think it's enough to completely throw out based on how he looked then, how he looks now, and her not able to point him out in the courtroom.
You ever have that happen?
That is a little strange.
You ever see that happen, Lee, where someone just can't find the defendant?
You know, you have to be a bamboo. You have to bend but not break. I mean, it was a softball question, but I do think you have a witness who was credible with regard to the facts, and I don't think it's going to matter because the self-defense argument puts him there killing the individual. So you dismiss the fact that she can't point the individual who's standing next to his own defense attorneys at the defense table. I don't think it's going to be an issue for the jury at all, and I think the state tried to rehabilitate the kind of blunder. But I think in that situation, and yes, it has happened to me, you just kind of casually move on.
Yeah, nothing else to do. Everybody gets what's going on. And people are nervous, obviously. Adrienne Jones is the fiance of the defendant in this case, and she took the stand, and she had some major memory issues.
Adrienne, were you home the morning of June 18th, 2019?
I don't remember.
Okay. Do you know if the defendant was home the morning of June 18th, 2019?
I really don't remember.
Okay. Now, do you remember anything from the day of June 18th, 2019?
No, ma'am, I really do not.
Okay. So you don't remember what you were doing that day?
No.
You don't remember what the defendant was doing that day?
No, I do not.
Okay. You don't remember hearing any arguments that day?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Do you remember around that time going into the Parkersburg Police Department and giving a statement to Parkersburg Police?
No, ma'am, I do not.
You don't remember giving a statement to them?
No.
Okay. Do you remember anything about Mr. Peters and Mr. Lilly's relationship before June 18th, 2019?
No.
Okay. Do you remember the defendant owning a double-bladed knife with a sheath?
No.
Okay. Do you remember telling law enforcement he owned such a knife?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
So, Kira, this was a prosecution witness. Obviously, the fiance is not going to want to help their case, but she kind of does, doesn't she? In that jurors are thinking, oh, give me a break. You don't remember one of the craziest days of your life when your fiance came back with a bloody knife and you fled the scene? Your thoughts on her testimony?
I think it was I don't remember, so I'm going to say I don't remember, but it's not believable because okay, so one thing, do you remember the exact day? No, I don't remember. But do you remember going to the police and saying things? I mean, that's, like, you could at least say, I remember going to the police and saying things. Do you remember what you told them? No, or whatever. Like, I don't know, there's a reporter. No, the jury's going to be like, she's just covering up for him. She has information and she's not telling us. It's very, very bad for Mr. Lilly, what she did.
Yeah, and Lee, her explanation was, I have done a lot of drugs and I have PTSD. That's why I have a bit of amnesia. Your take on her testimony?
I think her testimony was hurtful for the defendant, and I thought the state did a good job because even though she didn't remember, they were getting facts into the record. Do you remember saying that, or do you remember if he had a knife or not? No, I don't recall. Okay, well, then you can't present any evidence later in trial that he didn't have one. And I thought the state did a very good job of just kind of getting facts in. Normally as a defense attorney or any attorney, you want to know the answer before you ask the question. And if a person doesn't remember, you usually get them off the stand very quickly and end it there. But I thought the prosecution did an excellent job just getting other facts before the jury.
Yeah, just use her as basically a human prop in the courtroom and ask whatever you want. She's gonna, what she's going to ask, but it's in the question that you want the jury to hear, not the answer.